Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. It's time for this week's news and features from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. We'll start this week's program in Colorado Springs. Now, things are starting to heat up for the athletes in the mid-stages of Olympic preparation for all three styles. They know that August Olympic wrestling competition is literally around the corner. On any given day, you can find Olympic athletes in men's and women's freestyle and Greco-Roman as well, training in the same room at the same time on the same day. It's where and how Olympic medals are earned. The men's freestyle team has been ratcheting up the intensity of its training on the mat, in the weight, and classrooms. The women's freestyle team has also been working hard identifying the areas that need improvement that will help them win medals in London. London-bound athletes in both men's and women's freestyle will compete this weekend at the Canada Cup in golf. Olympians expected to wrestle in Canada include Jared Frere and Jake Varner on the men's side, and Clarissa Chun and Kelsey Campbell, along with Elena Pirozhkova for the women. Now, the Greco-Roman team is taking a short time out from camp, but a number of Olympians who live in and around Colorado Springs continue daily workouts and training for competition. With 1 month till the opening ceremonies, training is critical now for all the Olympians. We talked with Elena Pirozhkova.
We had a pretty tough 2 weeks, Glad it's over, so we get some time off and kind of just get ready for Canada Cup here. But it's going well. I mean, there's ups and downs in training like all the time, but I'm slowly getting ready. I mean, right now, at this point in the game, it's like you got what you got, in the next month, you're not really going to become like a better wrestler, you're not going to become a worse wrestler. It's just the biggest thing that can make a difference, I think, in the competition is just coming in with a lot of confidence and just having fun and believing you can win.
Well, one of the side benefits of telling the story of today's athlete is sharing their personal struggles as well. As we tell each story, the public is often mesmerized, drawn into the amazing lives of Olympic athletes. He just turned 22 years old, and he's on a grand Olympic quest to win gold of his own. That's developing. Now the story of Ben Provisor, the 163-pound Olympic Greco-Roman athlete seeking to break through in London. Even with all the press surrounding Ben's rise in the Greco ranks and within Olympic sports community itself, Provisor is not the only famous member of his family. One of the most successful rock bands of the 60s and 70s was the popular Grassroots. For 10 years, Dennis Provisor was part of this group, one of the nation's most popular bands. During a 6-year period, the Grassroots set a record for being on the Billboard charts an unbelievable 307 straight weeks. They had 13 gold records and 3 top 10 songs, selling over 20 million records worldwide. Ben's father, Dennis, was the original keyboardist for the band, who counted among their big hits Midnight Confession, Temptation Eyes, Heaven Knows, and Sooner or Later. Ben's not the only family member who knows about gold. He talks about his famous father.
I always thought my dad was special because he's my dad, but we had a record room, or like I say, a music room always in my house. So I knew from the age 5 years old that there was pictures of magazines, gold records hanging on the wall, that he was really big in music, and it's pretty awesome to bring up to older guys I meet that know the band, and older families and older women that know the band, and it's just a cool conversation to talk about. Well,
Ben's dad will be in London supporting his son and his quest to win Olympic gold. Ben talks about his summer training.
Yeah, my wrestling's going good. I didn't make weight in Serbia, but I think it's all a little learning process, and I'm going to take the positives from that situation and bring it into the Olympics. And beating Kirk Valia at the Kirby Cup was great. He's a great competitor. Everyone knows what he did at the last Olympics, and I'm looking forward to competing.
Well, in addition to our Olympic teams in training, many of the nation's best young wrestlers are also training for a chance to win gold a little later this year. Members of the 2012 U.S. FILA Junior World Women's Freestyle team have been training right alongside their Olympic counterparts in the springs. In early September, they'll be competing in the FILA Junior World Championships in Pattaya, Thailand. Erin Golston, a 2011 FILA Junior World bronze medalist who's made her third Junior World team, is among the young athletes training for gold in Thailand.
I think it was really important to come out here because I think we should take advantage of our Olympians training here, because so far we've all been able to train a little bit with them, and I think it's helped us a great amount. I'm just going to be ready. There's no other option but to be ready. I'm just going to go in there and be confident in my training, and hopefully everything will fall together.
Well, USA Wrestling Assistant National Coach Izzy Izbuenikov will be coaching the FILA Junior team again this year and talks about why the young women are spending their summer in Colorado.
It only can be better by being in this environment. It's a unique opportunity as Olympics come around every 4 years, and we're just trying to capitalize on that. As much as we can take advantage of summer training and bringing the young athletes to train with our senior athletes, they just only can make them better, and it can help our Olympic team, and it can help them as well.
Well, these women wrestlers aren't the only young athletes training alongside our Olympic athletes in preparation for the Junior Worlds. There's been a group of young men's freestyle stars who have been, for the last year, training at the OTC, prepping to win Junior World medals of their own. Some of the nation's top high school stars chose to delay their college careers last year in order to focus on freestyle. The hard work paid off as 4 of them earned spots on the men's freestyle team heading to Thailand to compete at the Junior Worlds. This huge decision is and will continue to pay benefits for the athletes and for Team USA's future. Those 4 resident athletes were champions at the FILA Junior World Team Trials in June and include 132-pounder Earl Hall, Destin McCauley at 145 pounds, 185-pounder Patrick Downey, and Tanner Hall at 211 pounds. A 5th wrestler, Colorado Springs High School star Adrian Cordova, trains regularly at the OTC and made the team at 110 pounds. Tanner Hall is on his 2nd Junior World team and explains how training at the OTC made a difference in wrestling.
I mean, coming here from high school, it's a totally different level. They train you different, it's just another level, and it's such a great experience. I would recommend it for anybody that gets the opportunity. It's taken me from a good high school wrestler and turned me into a great wrestler overall. Last year when I went out, I was a good wrestler, but, I could set my moves and everything, but I just didn't know how to wrestle like I do now. Out here, it's just taught me how to wrestle and just taught me, what it takes to take it to that next level.
Resident freestyle coach Brandon Slay has coached all 5 FILA Junior World team members, and he explains the program's success.
Well, we believe to develop our cadets and junior level guys, they need to be wrestling with our senior level guys, ideally. That's a benefit to the senior level guys, wrestling some younger guys, but it's clearly a benefit to our junior guys wrestling senior level guys. So the plan was a year ago to bring some of these junior level guys out here, get them training with the senior guys, and put multiple guys on the junior world team to go over to Thailand in September and win more medals, and that was the plan a year ago, and thankfully that's where we're at. We have 5 guys from here in Colorado Springs that train in our room at the Olympic Training Center that will go to Thailand in September to represent our country. Well, I think they improved dramatically, and I think the program definitely did work. It was for sure a process when they first got here, wrestling a lot of the senior level guys. They got beat up a little bit, got a lot of points scored on them, got turned a lot. But it was kind of a sink or swim mentality, and they decided to swim. They decided to continue to work hard and stick with it. And then after about 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, you saw all that time that they put in early on really start to pay off.
Well, the wrestling community was all abuzz when recently the International Wrestling Federation, FILA, announced this year's inductees into the Hall of Fame. This year's inductees will be honored in London during the Olympic Games, and one of those being inducted and recognized, very well known here stateside and revered by American wrestling community and by those around the world. He's world and Olympic champion Dan Gable, considered by many to be one of the greatest coaches in wrestling history. He'll be inducted into the Legends category. Gable won a world freestyle title in 1971 and followed that up with Olympic gold in '72 when he won at 149. And if you recall, he didn't surrender a point. Gable coached 3 U.S. Olympic teams and numerous U.S. World teams during 20 years of international coaching. His 1984 Olympic team won 7 gold medals at the L.A. Games. He coached the University of Iowa to 15 NCAA team titles and is considered the most successful collegiate wrestling coach in U.S. history. Gable becomes the 7th American inducted into the FILA Hall of Fame and the first in the Legends category. Gable joins men's freestyle wrestlers John Smith, Bruce Baumgartner, Kevin Jackson, and Lee Kemp, along with women's freestyle wrestler Tricia Saunders and referee Vince Saguaro in this very special Hall of Fame. Of course, we'll provide complete coverage of this event from London in August. Congratulations to Dan Gable for a well-deserved honor. Stay tuned. We'll be back. There's a lot more international news around the corner. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
ASICS has been there. They've been the lifeblood of the sport. It's been a long time, and they've been at the top of the game every year, forever. And I'll tell you what, now that I think about it, maybe that's where I've gotten my inspiration, because you know, I always want to be in the top of my game in wrestling, and I think that's where ASICS is and wants to be as well.
There comes a point in your life that determines who you are, whether you will lead or follow, whether you will fight or give in, whether you will win or lose, and what you will count as your victory.
Both of these guys are explosive, and it's not over. This is going to be a great match.
Well, the age-old saying is that America doesn't send athletes to the Olympics, Americans do. Well, you may not know that the U.S. is the only major nation that doesn't fund their Olympic program through government support. Support for America's Olympics comes directly from U.S. citizens just like you and me, and community-minded corporations as well. The same can be said for Olympians. They must spend lots of money for their families to attend the Olympics to support them. Therefore, in addition to training, our Olympic wrestlers have been busy with fundraising in preparation for London. Last week, a special fundraiser was held in Colorado Springs for Olympic women's star Kelsey Campbell. Friends of Kelsey, David and Brenda Began, owners of frozen yogurt shop I Top It, as well as the Whitewater Rapid Wash, decided to help her raise money. For 5 hours last Saturday, half of the proceeds from all of the cars washed at Whitewater Rapid Wash went directly to Campbell's family for travel. David Began explains why he wanted to help.
We actually raffled. We actually won an auction on a private tour of the Olympic Training Center last fall, and this spring we took the tour and we had lunch, and Kelsey actually ate with us at the Olympic Training Center. We got to meet her and understand what she was doing, and she was talking about how she's in the middle of fundraising to get her family to London. And I own a couple businesses, both I Top It and Whitewater Rapid Wash here. And so we wanted to help her, so that's how we decided to go ahead and do a charity car wash.
Campbell was grateful for the community's support.
Regardless of what we raise, whether we raise $5 or $500, I'm just excited that we're getting our name out there and people are going to know about the women's wrestling team going to London. I mean, it means a lot to have people come up to you and say, good luck, we'll be rooting for you. Like, there's no dollar amount that can replace that type of support.
Well, these fundraisers go a long way to promote the sport of wrestling in the community. And to promote the event, Kelsey started the publicity day with a quick interview on America's weekly wrestling radio talk show, Takedown Radio. She and her Olympic teammate Elena Pirozhkova then sold T-shirts and signed posters and fielded media questions about their Olympic quest. They raised money and awareness, and lucky local fans were able to meet some of wrestling's greats. July 1st, Elena Pirozhkova will have her own Colorado Springs fundraiser sponsored by Inspire Lives. There'll be a church service followed by a barbecue, both at Rampart High School. June 30th, Greco-Roman Olympian Justin Lester will hit the Takedown Radio airwaves to promote an Olympic send-off of his own. Justin's hometown of Akron, Ohio will honor the Olympian all day long. A wrestling clinic and a send-off reception will be at Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy, where Lester won 4 high school state titles. A community day at his parents' church is included, and throughout the day all activities are free, but donations will be accepted for Lester's fundraising, along with t-shirts that will be available for purchase as well. Well, the Big Ben Olympic send-off will be held in Plover, Wisconsin, July 19th for Greco-Roman Olympian Ben Provisor. His hometown community will come out for live music, food, volleyball, bowling, and other activities at the 5-star lanes. Ben Provisor t-shirts will be sold, and funds raised will help his family in their journey. More of these Olympic fundraisers and celebrations will take place over the coming weeks, and we'll do our best to continue to tell their stories. For all the updates, as always, we invite you to visit our friends at themat.com for fundraiser and celebration dates and times, as well as locations. Well, a key to success for any Olympian is great coaching, and the U.S. has many of the best wrestling coaches in the world. This week, USA Wrestling announced its coaching staff for the 2012 Olympic Games in London. These selections have been approved by the U.S. Olympic Committee. In Greco-Roman, joining national coach Steve Frazier and assistant national coach Momir Petkovic are 3 very talented and experienced volunteer coaches. Leading off is head coach of the 2000 Olympic team, Dan Chandler. Dan was assistant coach of the 1992 Olympic team and a coach at 4 other Olympics as well. Chandler coached numerous U.S. World teams and was a 3-time Olympic athlete. He coaches the Minnesota Storm. Sean Lewis, a 2004 Olympic coach and a member of the 2008 Olympic staff, is also on this year's Olympic staff. Sean Lewis has led numerous U.S. World teams and coaches the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program. James Johnson, who's coached U.S. World teams and serves as head Greco-Roman coach for the Sun-Kissed Kids, also joins the Greco staff. Johnson was a top Greco-Roman athlete prior to his coaching career. He talked to us about the opportunity to coach our Olympic athletes.
I think it's a great honor and a privilege, to be selected by your peers to be the Olympic coach for the United States, to represent, the United States and the sport of wrestling within the Olympic Games.
Well, joining national women's coach Terry Steiner and assistant national women's coach Izzy Zbojnikoff is volunteer Olympic coach for women's freestyle Keith Wilson. Wilson has served as U.S. Women's World Team coach for the last 4 years. As the women's coach for the Sun-Kissed Kids, he coached 3 of the 4 U.S. Olympic Team Trials champions, along with numerous national team members and national champs. Wilson looks forward to working with the women in England.
It's a great opportunity. It's an honor to work with the girls. Just getting them prepared with Terry and Izzy, and everybody's had a good training camp so far, and they're looking strong. So we just keep improving on what we're working on right now, and get them prepared as best we can, getting up to when they have to step on that mat.
Well, national freestyle coach Zeke Jones will be joined by 3 very successful and respected volunteer coaches, all with past Olympic coaching experience. Joining the staff is one of the most decorated men in wrestling's history, John Smith. John is a 2-time Olympic champion and 4-time world champion as an athlete, and a past Olympic freestyle coach as well. At the 2000 Olympic Games, Smith served as a co-head coach there. He's also coached the last 3 U.S. World teams. He's the head coach at Wrestling Dynasty Oklahoma State, and also the head coach of the Gator Wrestling Club. Joining Smith on the roster of talented coaches is 1996 Olympian Lou Roselli. The Ohio-based coach is a many-time U.S. World Team coach and another Olympic freestyle specialist. Roselli coaches the Ohio Regional Training Center program as well as the internationally respected New York Athletic Club. He serves as an assistant coach for Ohio State. Rounding out the staff of volunteer coaches, the head man from Nebraska, Mark Manning. No stranger to international coaching duties, Manning has served on numerous U.S. World teams and Pan American teams and is also an Olympic coach. Recently, Manning was named 2011 FILA International Freestyle Coach of the Year. He shared his thoughts on heading into the London Games.
It's going to be great. It's a great privilege, and been involved with USA Wrestling for quite some time, and really looking forward to helping each athlete reach their goals and win a lot of medals in London. Helping them with the little details that can help them win a big match and get them over the hump, and just be there for them, on the mat and off the mat.
Well, national freestyle coach Zeke Jones talks about his newly assembled Olympic staff.
Well, we have a good staff. I mean, we're really fortunate to have John Smith, Mark Manning, Lou Roselli. As you know, they bring a lot of experience to the table. We get along great. We know each other. We understand each other. I was on, 6 World and Olympic teams with John Smith. Lou Roselli, we grew up in the same generation. Mark's been on our World and Olympic coaching staffs for many years. We know each other, and we know what it takes to get these guys ready, and we can relate to the team because we know them all really well. So we get along great. It's a great staff. Not only do we focus on getting the team ready, but we get along and we have a lot of fun doing it too.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. There's a lot more international news around the corner. You're watching USA Wrestling Weekly.
Each season, Liberty Mutual's Responsible Sports Community Grant Program awards $65,000 to youth sports organizations and school sports programs that demonstrate their commitment to responsibility in youth sports. Your organization could be one of our 20 winners this season. It's easy. Simply visit responsiblesports.com and click on the Community Grant Program. Administrators register their organization with the program, then reach out to rally parents, coaches, and team supporters to log on and review either the Responsible Sports Parenting or Responsible Coaching Guide. Then complete the quiz and showcase your mastery of the concepts. Every successfully passed quiz is worth a point that you can credit to your favorite youth sports organization or school sports program. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors to rally more support. The teams and schools with the most points at the end of the grant period win. It's that simple. Watch the leaderboard throughout the grant season, then rally more of your supporters to increase your totals. Liberty Mutual is committed to celebrating and championing youth sports and to financially supporting organizations that demonstrate their commitment to responsible sports. Join the movement and start earning points toward your community grant.
Well, last week, at the age of 91, wrestling lost another great man when former Minnesota wrestler and world-famous painter and sketch artist LeRoy Neiman died. Neiman carried on with his ideas and views of the world of sport as the official painter of 5 Olympic Games. He became famous for his colorful, impressionistic paintings and sketches of the world's best athletes and most important sports events. Neiman enjoyed working with wrestling images and painted a number of the top wrestlers in the world. He took pride in having a wrestling background as an athlete. After wrestling legend Dave Schultz was murdered in 1996, Neiman worked with USA Wrestling to develop a painting of the superstar wrestler as a way to help raise funds for the newly created Dave Schultz Wrestling Club. Neiman also created the art of Olympic champions Bruce Baumgartner, John Smith, Dan Gable, and others. He spent a considerable amount of time at the wrestling venue during the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, capturing some of the athletes and enjoying the action. Among the athletes who Neiman worked often with was Olympic champion and professional world champion boxer Muhammad Ali, someone who made us proud. Today, we salute the life of the great LeRoy Neiman. Well, the 2012 U.S. Olympic team trials in Iowa City surely was an historic event for the wrestling community. Record crowds came out to support America's best international wrestlers in Carver Hawkeye Arena and were thrilled by the exciting action and drama of the trials. Even a few months later, this great event is still impacting lives in the community. This feel-good story now comes out of Florida. Bobby Burns, a successful coach from Deerfield Beach High School and an inductee into the Florida chapter of the Wrestling Hall of Fame, suffered a massive heart attack back in March. Although he had to be revived some 3 times by paramedics, including people he coached or taught, Burns fought like a true wrestler and was able to go home on April 23rd. Many of his friends from the Florida wrestling community were at the Olympic trials in Iowa City, and All-American Wrestling Supply, who sponsors USA Wrestling, a merchandising partner, donated a Team USA shirt to the Florida group. They were able to get the autographs on the shirt, and the entire Olympic team signed, along with the referee delegation and coaches. In addition, Olympic champions and wrestling legends Dan Gable, Kenny Monday, and more signed it as well. The Palm Beach Wrestling Officials Association had their shirt framed, and it was presented to Bobby Burns during a Wrestling Hall of Fame event in June. Shown with Bobby on the shirt are referees Don Smith, Robert Mataskill, and Doug Howard. Bobby truly enjoyed the gift, and thanks All-American Wrestling Supply, the Olympic team, and their coaches for taking the time to think about him during his recovery. Well, that's going to do it for this week's program. We appreciate you watching each and every week. For all of us at USA Wrestling, I'm Scott Casper. Have a good one, everybody.